Stugatz here. If you somehow tuned out for the past couple of weeks and forgot to get Mom a 1-800-Flowers bouquet for Mother's Day, which is this Sunday, how do you think she's going to react? Luckily for you, 1-800-Flowers still has amazing offers on beautiful Mother's Day bouquets and arrangements starting at just $29.99. There's still time to have your bouquet delivered on Mother's Day, but you have to get moving. With an amazing selection of sweets, treats, and bouquets, 1-800-Flowers has everything you need for Mother's Day, and she'll never guess how great of a last-minute deal you scored. Mother's Day bouquets and arrangements starting at $29.99 is an amazing offer, but you have to order today. Trust 1-800-Flowers to make Mom feel loved. Order today from 1-800-Flowers.com to order beautiful and vibrant Mother's Day bouquets starting at $29.99. Go to 1-800-Flowers.com, click the radio icon, enter code Dan. Again, go to 1-800-Flowers.com, click the radio icon, and enter code Dan. Mother's Day is Sunday, so order today. 1-800-Flowers.com, code Dan.
This is the Morning Rush.
So Aaron Rodgers and Danica Patrick are together.
Courtside seats
at
for
the Milwaukee game. Yeah.
For the Bucks game.
Yeah, so they're up there.
Prime seats. I don't know how they afforded it, but they got it.
Yeah, they have money for some reason. I don't know what
Why
they do.
Why they weren't
for
in
it.
the upper deck, I don't know.
Yeah, so anyways, they're just sitting there. This is caught on camera, caught on TNT. Well, this guy behind them has ordered 2 drinks. Looks like cocktails. Looks like pretty nice drinks.
Some kind of mixed drink.
And he comes down and he taps Danica Patrick on the shoulder. And, of course, we can't hear what he's saying, but essentially is giving her and her friend that's sitting next to her.
It wasn't bad looking either.
It wasn't bad looking either. Drinks. Came up and bought drinks for Danica Patrick, who's sitting there next to Aaron Rodgers, her beau. If that is not one of the ballsiest moves that you can do as a man right there. Mad respect for that man.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
You're born amazing. And at Baptist Health, we want to keep you that way. In fact, that's our mission. To not only provide the most skilled doctors and nurses to heal you from sickness or injury and comprehensive care to support your recovery, but also to be your guide to health. Also, you can keep on inspiring, keep on reaching, and keep on amazing. For the care that keeps you amazing, visit Baptist-Health.com.
Kick off the season the right way with a new RV from Crabtree RV in Alma. Crabtree is extending our RV show pricing all season long. Check out our spring show specials like a Salem 207 with a slide and bunks for $147 a month. And with RV show pricing, you can take up to $10,000 off of MSRP on new travel trailers and up to $15,000 off new fifth wheels. And we'll still give you more for your trade than the other guys. At Crabtree RV in Alma, where your family's dreams come true.
0% financing and huge spring savings on new Buicks at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The 2019 Buick Encore, only $18,999 or just $299 a month. That's a 2019 for under $19,000. Or get 0% financing for 72 months on most Buick models, including the Cascada, Encore, Regal, LaCrosse, and Envision. Spring into savings at the #1 Buick dealer in the country, Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
At Shelter Insurance, we know landlords have to keep up with their renters, even if they're related.
Mom, Dad, what a surprise! We just dropped by to pick up your
rent check.
Oh, I'm running a little short this month.
Not everything works as smoothly as Shelter's renter's policy. It helps cover stuff in case of fire, theft, and more.
Maybe I should just move back home. Don't you love me?
Of course.
But now your room's Dad's man cave.
Oh, man.
Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Call me, Brandon Zimmerman, in Barling.
Or me, Chris Dooley, in Fort Smith.
This Memorial Day weekend, it's the 18th annual Madison May, brought to you by Come Get You Some and Performance Center, presented by Extreme Diesel. A family fun weekend of off-road competition at Bird's Adventure Center in Casa, Arkansas. Live music, a poker run along with great prizes, and all the off-road competition you can handle. All four-wheelers and UTVs, welcome. For event information, call 479-782-6833. Camping info, call 479-667-4066. Madness in May, this Memorial Day weekend, brought to you by Come Get You Some, presented by Extreme Diesel.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
We will be in and out of the clouds with a chance of some showers and storms south today. Our high temperatures will be into the upper 60s. About a 50-50 chance of showers, possibly a storm or two tonight, and overnight low in the low to mid 50s. Showers and occasional thunderstorms on Saturday. Our high mid-60s north, low 70s south. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
KERX, Paris, Fort Smith.
2 seconds, 1 second, he lets fly with a shot.
From the Bush and Bushlight Studios, this is ESPN 95.3.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
This is Halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry. You know, anything travels that far, I'd have a damn stewardess on it, don't you think?
With Phil Elson.
You do a fantastic job on the radio. There's no one else in this league I'd rather listen to, so keep up the good work.
And Tye Richardson.
Tye, I love the way you talk, buddy.
Raise that bright red flag to the skies. 423 miles away, the Emerald City awaits. The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Hey, hold on, it's almost halftime.
Well, I guess it's not that often that we get a chance to actually recap a baseball game for Arkansas on our show, you know, the day after it happens. It's certainly not in the SEC too often because usually you're playing Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We talked a little bit yesterday how this was Arkansas LSU was obviously the premier game for the SEC, probably for the weekend when the folks on ESPN took a look at the SEC schedule, and they know they love to televise SEC baseball games this time of the year, so they isolate Arkansas LSU for a Thursday night, and that gives us, not just here on Halftime, but really everybody in sports radio across Arkansas a chance to relive a game the next day and relive it in a little bit of glory. Wasn't that fun last night? You really take LSU to the woodshed, 14-4, with 5 home runs, a barrage that took place really just in the first 4 innings, and it really put a spotlight, I think, on the reasons that we talked about on, I think it was Tuesday, why Arkansas just seems to be in a much better position right now than LSU to get into a late weekend series where you're trying to solidify your standing in the grand scheme of what the selection committee and NCAA baseball will be deciding in a couple of weeks, which is, do you play home games? And for LSU right now, if I'm the Tigers, I'm a little bit nervous, not just about the opportunity to host at Alex Box Stadium, but even make it to the tournament, because you're going to need to finish with at least 500 record in the SEC. Chances are, to make the tournament, they're looking at least a 500 record in the conference, potentially 14-16. I don't know, but I would say you got to be at least 15-15 when it comes down to it. And right now, I don't know. I think LSU might be in a little bit of a tough position to make it there. Now, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting way ahead of myself.
It's not just you, man. I feel like everyone is ahead of themselves after last night.
Well, and yes, I think so too. And I tried, and you can't help it in sports radio. You know, look ahead to the things that might happen. If you're a fan, things that you hope happen. I think all of us in sports radio in Arkansas want Arkansas to go as far as they possibly can. So
no, not the unbiased media members. No, because they don't want to have anything to write about between June and July. They want it to be completely dead. So no, they don't care about that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so it used to be in June. I mean, what are you going to talk about? What are you going to write about? Well, maybe you'll actually be writing about games deep into the month of June. But yes, I mean, we're getting ahead of ourselves, and you can't help it. I don't think you can help it. Because, I mean, one thing this team's really good at is not getting ahead of themselves, is not looking ahead to the next opponent or anything amongst their standing in the SEC. This is a team that's good at playing baseball games that are right in front of you. And right in front of them yesterday was an LSU team that early looked like they hadn't figured anything out about Isaiah Campbell, but just took advantage of a couple of pitches and got out to an early lead. But Arkansas, we saw this at Kentucky. This is why you feel like that they would have won the last game at Kentucky if it would have gone 9 innings instead of 7 innings, because they wear down an opponent's pitching staff. Even a pitching staff that's been healthy. There weren't any injury issues with Tennessee when the Volunteers came into Baum-Walker Stadium with the nation's best earned run average and left with 3 losses in a row, including 2 where they'd given up more runs than they'd had in any game all season long. Kentucky, mostly a healthy pitching staff. Not a very good pitching staff, but they did go to the last arm they possibly had on Sunday when their ace gives them 5 2/3 tough innings, and Arkansas nearly comes from behind in a game that, again, if it would have gone 9 innings, they would have won. LSU does not have that sort of depth right now, and it's because of injuries and ineffectiveness as well. But Arkansas wore them down early yesterday. I mean, you get into the bullpen 4 innings in, and it was a perfect day. It really was. If you could point out everything you would want about a baseball game in front of you, especially when you're talking about a hated rival. If you're not asking for too much, you're not begging for no hitters or inside the park grand slams or players hitting for the cycle. You feel like asking for 5 home runs from any team is asking for a little bit too much. But then again, this is becoming a team that looks a lot like what you saw in 2018, a team that can stay back and slug the 3-run homer, which they did. Well, there weren't any 3-run homers yesterday. There was a 4-run homer, a couple of 2-run jacks, and a couple of solo shots. But what a day it was to be a radio announcer for that team. I mean, I got a lot of practice last night practicing home run calls.
Yeah, you did. And I got a few George Michael Wham rejoins queued up for you to your liking, so you're going to like that.
Oh,
but
great.
I'm not going to say that Jack Kinley, the reason he hit a grand slam against LSU last night was because he came on halftime, but I'm not going to say it wasn't the reason.
Didn't hurt.
1-0 pitch on the way. Kenley, a drive down the right field line. Hooking, stay fair. That ball is out of here. Grand slam, Jack Kenley. The 5th home run for the Razorbacks. And it's a 4-back carnival at Baum-Walker Stadium.
I mean, he just pelted that sucker to right. That was gone. And Hart, and your call, and then I heard Hart's call as well. That was just a smash. And you mentioned the home runs. They just kept pounding the baseball last night. And you often, like, when you see like a score like that, you think, oh, the team got a lot of hits, but just the home runs just kept coming for Arkansas last night, and hopefully they'll continue throughout the series.
Well, I mean, they got plenty of hits. I mean, they had 15 base hits total, and at one point Arkansas had more home runs than LSU had total hits. That's kind of nuts, considering I think LSU's still a decent lineup. They're a little top-heavy. 1 through 6, they're dangerous. I mean, they also got into the home run fund. Daniel Cabrera hit 2 home runs yesterday. That's a dangerous hitter. It's a good thing he was leading off innings instead of batting with anybody on base. They would have had a chance to come from behind. But 7, 8, and 9 in their order are more inexperienced players who are all batting, under the Mendoza line or right about at it at 200 or so. So there is no top-heavy feeling to the Arkansas lineup right now. I mean, let's just look at the home runs yesterday. Casey Martin hits one in the first inning on a hanging curveball, one that he was waiting on. He joined me after the game and said, look, we're stay off the curveball when it starts at your belt. We're going to hit that curveball when it starts at the shoulders. And that's what he got, a curveball that started at the shoulders, came to the chest, and then ended up in the hog pen. And how interesting it was to watch Casey just trot around the bases instead of sprint around the bases, which he had done twice last week inside the park home runs. And then later in the game, he got to show that great speed scoring from first base on a double by Dominic Fletcher. But, hey, that wasn't a home run, so that's not what we're talking about. Casey Martin told me that he predicted the Casey Opitz home run in the second inning, the 2-out lightning from your 7 and 8 hitters. There's a big difference right there. There was no lightning from the 7, 8, or 9 hitters in the LSU lineup yesterday. There was a lot of lightning in that second inning with a 2-out single by Jacob Nesbitt, and then Opitz. You don't think about Casey Opitz as a guy that's going to hit it over the fence. It had happened once all year, and it happened at Vanderbilt, and then it was a low-line drive, so it wasn't like one of those crush jobs. Yesterday was a crush job, and it was a first-pitch fastball that just sat right there. Martin said he predicted it. Casey Opitz made the other Casey look smart and made himself look like a power hitter, too, with the home run that gave them the lead for good.
So it was great earlier this year. Our buddy Ryan Folks put out that little clip of Jack Kinley being asked the question, you've never hit a home run before this season. And then at that point, I think he hit 3. What led to that? He's just like, oh, I knew it was coming. Now he's got, 10? Mm-hmm. So it's just cool. And, I mean, you mentioned Opitz, the timely hitting. He's not exactly – doesn't have the best batting average in the Arkansas lineup right now, but, I mean, he's hit timely hits. He had a bomb last night. And that's what – I mean, Phil, like the statistics – and this applies to every sport imaginable – if your statistics don't show up in postseason and down the stretch, it doesn't matter. Like if you have all these great accolades and great achievements heading into the late in the postseason in whatever sport, but you don't show up then, all it's for nothing. And at this point in time, I think Arkansas fans, they were kind of skeptical. They're like, we'll see what happens. And I still think there's a lot of baseball to be played this series because, Phil, honestly, I haven't talked to a single fan, person, or whoever that thinks Arkansas is going to lose this series. Let's not forget, LSU has been in this situation before versus the Razorbacks. Now, the talent gap is, you can speak to this more than I can. It's a lot different than it has been in years past. But there's a reason you hadn't beat this LSU team in a series since 2011, even with more talented teams. They've just come up big in a lot of these different games, especially the rubber matches with Dave Van Horn has not won a single one. So I don't think the series is over yet, despite what a lot of people believe right now.
What I feel we're leaning on, and I agree with you, and I got into this with Bubba last night on the broadcast, because the last 2 seasons, Arkansas has won the first game and then lost the next 2. So they're in the same position now, 3 years in a row. This is a different LSU team, though, and what LSU has been built upon for years has been depth in pitching. I mean, this is why they're able to look at the tournament in Hoover as something that means something to them, why they've won it all the times that they've won it, and a lot of other programs don't really look at it with much importance. It's because they always have – they've got pitchers to go to. They've got pitchers in droves, so to speak, and dominant weekend rotations that take care of business in the regular season and that do the same thing in the postseason. But then when they go to Hoover, there are freshman, sophomore pitchers that are just throwing midweek that are dominant and very good in those games. But their pitching has been tested, and the depth has been tested to the point where this is not your older brother's LSU baseball team right now. They are in some sense that they've got some names in the lineup that you know can hurt you. So maybe if it comes to a thought that they just go out and outslug a team at some point, potentially that's the case. But their pitching is hurting right now. And I have the same feeling about LSU that I did going into the Super Regional with South Carolina last year, that the Gamecocks didn't have the depth of pitching to deal with a lineup that like Arkansas. There's something about this Razorback lineup. Now, one of the differences between this year and last year is that this year's team doesn't strike out as much. So they're forcing opponents into throwing, I think, more pitches. They get a lot of pitches to see. They really wear down an opponent's pitching staff. And against a team that's struggling with pitching depth and injuries on the mound, that's a killer for a weekend. It is. And so, they got Eric Walker going today. And Walker has been the hog killer. 2 years ago, he beat him twice. Including a rubber match here at Baum Walker when he threw a complete game, and then in Hoover in the SEC championship game.
I was going to say I thought it was that.
With about 10,000 LSU fans, putting pressure on him. He was a freshman and he looked incredible. He was a guy that he was like a Greg Maddux of college baseball, nibbling on the corners, a lot of movement, changing speeds on batters. He looked like a future ace. Then he missed last year because of TJ surgery, and now this year. I'm not saying he's not the same pitcher, but I don't know, that first year back off of Tommy John, it's still like a rehab season in a sense. He's got a 5.30 ERA, and he's had some good outings, but when you're facing a lineup like this, it's really difficult when you're not on the top of your game and have dominant stuff to make it through the innings that you need. Now, one thing LSU didn't do yesterday is also a thing that Arkansas didn't do yesterday. They didn't have to use they didn't have to use their ace out of the bullpen. Although with LSU, their ace out of the pen, Zach Hess, is a guy that they'll look to go, 2-3, I even think 4 innings if they have a chance to sneak a victory today. If they have the lead in the 5th inning, I bet you they go to Zach Hess. For Arkansas, you didn't have to use Matt Cronin. You didn't have to use Jacob Kostichak. No Cody Scroggins. So
did Ramage close out that game last night?
Ramage didn't close it. He went 2 innings, and then Jacob Burton closed it with the 9th inning.
Okay.
But they felt like it was a chance to get Ramage some, a chance to pitch on the weekend again and regain some confidence, so you can start using him again on the weekends. But you didn't have to use any of your main bullpen dudes. So Arkansas is in such a much better position pitching-wise than LSU for these next 2 games, and they already were in a better position before the series even started, and they're even at a higher level than LSU right now.
So I got 2 experiences for you. One personal, one Arkansas baseball. Back when I was in high school, we played, to our Harrison listeners, they're going to like this, we played the Harrison Goblins in soccer in state twice, and then in the state finals my senior year. The first year we played them, we were sophomores. They were more talented. They beat us, but I think 1-0. Second year, we were the more talented team. They still won 1-0. We missed a lot of opportunities, and we finally beat them that third year. But it was one of those things until we actually got the monkey off the back, and you call it a marsupial, like a giant gorilla, which it is at this point, because you can't find a way to beat LSU, it seems like, these last few years. And then what this series kind of reminded me of, the first thing I thought of last night, is the Missouri State 2015 Super Regional, where you just smacked the crap out of them in that first game. Benintendi and those guys just beat the living tar out of them. And then second game, you couldn't hit that next guy. And I don't know if they were a little overconfident or if it was just his stuff in general.
No, he was the ace of that team. Yeah. They saved him for that second game.
And he just outpitched him. And I remember all these Arkansas fans were like, we're going to Omaha. Like, this series is over. Like, game 2, it's done. And then that guy came in and just took them down, and the fans were a little weary after that. They're like, I don't know about that. And then the guys were able to pull it out, 4-3 with Johnson coming in to close the game at the end. But I just don't think – I think fans at this point, we put up our halftime poll question, how do you think Arkansas is going to finish this LSU series this weekend? I would say the majority of fans think that they're probably going to win tonight's game. I'm not so sure. I mean, you mentioned this guy. I know he's coming off Tommy John, but he had a little success against Arkansas 2 years back in the SEC championship and in that regular season game. I'm just not so sure that Arkansas is going to have as much confidence as they have coming off last night, and as great as they played last night. I think Maneri's going to light a fire in this, guys, and kind of relay to them, hey, we're LSU. I know Arkansas is catching up to us, but we're still the class of college baseball, and especially in the SEC. There's a reason we've managed to beat the Razorbacks every year since basically 2011. So I don't want to be the Debbie Downer. That's not my shtick. His shtick is to constantly criticize and just assume the worst. I just don't know. I'm not 100% sold on them winning tonight. Now, the series, that's a little different, but I think everyone's just assuming they're going to win tonight. Phil, what do you think about that? Do you think people are a little overconfident heading into tonight's game?
I don't think you can't help but be a little overconfident, but if you want to be a Debbie Downer, I'll be an Andy Upper, okay? Right. I'll give you some reasons
why. That's our roles.
I'll give you more reasons why I think Arkansas's got a great opportunity. So Eric Walker as a Razorback killer, let me exercise that demon too, just like I did with the stupid rally pot. Bubba brought it up on the broadcast.
Really?
Like he mentioned the things. And I was like, I was waiting. I'm glad you're the one who said it, not me. And I brought up our show, and we talked about it on Monday. I exercised the demon of the stupid rally possum, so we're done with that. I'm going to do the same thing with the thought of Eric Walker as a hog killer, because you're not pitching to laundry. You're not pitching just to uniforms. You're pitching to hitters. You're pitching to human beings. There's one player in this lineup for Arkansas that was in that lineup in 2017. One, Dominic Fletcher. That's it. It's not the same team. It's not the same team, and he's not the same pitcher. I don't think he's the same pitcher the first year coming back off Tommy John surgery. Next year, when he's in his second year off of TJ surgery, I bet you Eric Walker is maybe right back to where he was, if not better. But this year, I don't think it's the case. So there's that. There's also Patrick Wicklander is his opponent, and Wicklander has been dealing. I mean, this kid he's great. He's got great stuff. The only question is, how long can you go out there, because he goes a little deep in the count. So that's why you're in a great position with your bullpen. So Wicklander gives you 5 innings. You'll take that, because in his 5 innings, if his stuff is on and he's got the location that he's shown, 1 or 2 runs will be the most that he gives up. He's 5-0 in 10 starts with a 181 batting average allowed and a 2.36 ERA as a starting pitcher. So you got to take his full season statistics, which are okay. The ERA for Wicklander's 3.91, but it's almost half that when he's a starting pitcher. And that's what he is now. He's a starting pitcher. So then there's that. And then there's also that LSU just doesn't hit lefties well. They hit .244 against left-handed pitchers. That is the second lowest batting average in the SEC against lefties. So I've just given you 3 reasons why I'm an Andy Upper right now, and you can be the Debbie Downer. I'm trying not to overflow with optimism about this, but I can't help but look at the facts in front of us and say Arkansas is in such a better position to win this game, and then you'll see what happens tomorrow.
See, you'll wipe the floor with me when it comes to arguing facts, and that's not what I'm trying to do. It's just kind of the emotional standpoint that I see with not only this sport, but just any sport in general when you can't seem to overcome a certain team. We'll see what happens. Phil, how about that crowd last night, though?
Yeah.
Thursday night game over
misty.
9.
It was not the nicest night either.
Over 9,000 people. I mean, you think about tonight and then tomorrow afternoon. I know it's not going to be the best weather. We could get better weather in Fayetteville, Arkansas, but man, it's going to be packed. I know they're only selling a select few of general admission tickets for Saturday's game. They've said they sold out, but they're going to put on a few more for sale tomorrow morning. But you're just going to have a packed bomb stadium tonight and tomorrow afternoon.
I was impressed with the crowd yesterday because it was chilly. I mean, people brought blankets out to the ballpark. It's May 9th for crying out loud.
You know what Tommy told us this morning? He said that he was initially going to wear shorts and it's just a Columbia Razorback polo. No! And then he was like, he looked at the weather. He's like, no, I don't think I'm going to do that anymore.
That would have been a giant mistake. That's like the first game I ever went to see at San Francisco's AT&T Park. I'm thinking, oh, it's California. It's May. Oh, it's a beautiful day during the afternoon. I'm going to wear shorts. I froze my ass off at that game. It was the coldest day I ever had was a summer night in San Francisco. It was ridiculous. That's what it would have felt like yesterday here at Baum-Walker Stadium. You know what? All right, so 9,220 people paid. 7,283 had their tickets scanned. So that's pretty good for a night where first pitch temperature was 57 and dropping, and the skies were so low it felt like we were playing baseball in a cloud. And Dave Van Horn had his space heater in the coach's well yesterday. I said, "This has got to be the latest you've ever had this in here." And he said, "Yes." I mean, he was even DVH was a little bit uncomfortable in yesterday's game.
Welcome to Fayetteville, man. The weather you can never predict. It's just all over the place. I remember. I think the craziest. I think it snowed in April when I was in college, something like that. Maybe it was late March, but I just remember it being the weirdest month for me to see snow on the ground. It's just Fayetteville, man. You can never tell. It's on that mountaintop and it gets hot, it gets musty, and it gets freezing and frigid. It's just Fayetteville, man. You can't even describe it because it's all over the place.
I know we got to break real quick, but I'll tell. So I worked in the Pioneer Baseball League, 1998, 1999. That's rookie level baseball. Idaho, Montana, Utah, Alberta. So Butte, Montana was in this league. Butte, Montana at that point was the highest elevation for a city in professional baseball. I mean, it was like 6,500 feet above sea level. We're playing there, and the season starts in mid-June so that you don't figure you're playing in snow. Well, here it was like June 23rd, playing in the freaking snow. A 4.5-hour, 9-inning game with seven errors that I got to do the broadcast at a card table outside underneath the only speaker in the entire quote-unquote baseball park. Welcome to the glamour of professional baseball, right? That was a glorious day. All right, we need to take a break, but before we do, I want to talk to anybody out there dealing with divorce or child custody issues. If you're dealing with DHS, then get a hold of Kevin Hickey Law Partners. They'll represent you throughout the entire process. They've dealt with everything that you're dealing with. Angry spouses, false accusations, ugly custody battles, not getting the whole story, what's going on with your kids from DHS. You name it, they've seen it. It's Kevin Hickey Law Partners, made up with experienced, caring individuals that will step in and aggressively represent your interests. Call them in the River Valley at 479-434-2414 or Northwest Arkansas, 479-802-6560. That's Kevin Hickey Law Partners at kevinhickeylaw.com. We'll come back, a little Arkansas update on football. This is ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
No hidden agendas on this program. You're listening to Halftime. This is the Morning Rush.
Better by, would that be Khalid?
That's correct. Yeah.
All right. That was one of them I heard. Sunflower.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift song Me.
Yeah.
Sunflower by Post Malone.
There you go.
So y'all can't say anymore that the old man hadn't listened to some Post Malone. Dancing with a Stranger by Sam Smith. This is great stuff that I will never listen to again.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
Hi, I'm Eddie Lee Herndon with United Way. Did you know that $1 can provide 5 meals to hungry families in our area? Every dollar given to Arvest Bank's Million Meals campaign does just that. Now through June 1st, you can make a monetary contribution or donate non-perishable food items at any of the Arvest locations in our area. Contributions stay local and benefit the River Valley Regional Food Bank, the Community Service Clearinghouse, and United Way of Fort Smith area. Arkansas and Oklahoma both rank among the top 10 nationally in food insecurity. Please visit arvest.com/million meals. Arvest makes no representation that any contribution is tax deductible. Please consult your tax advisor.
Mosquito Joe. Outside is fun again. Stephanie, people ask us all the time, what does that mean? Why don't you explain that to them?
For my husband, it was always fun because, he doesn't get bit. But for me and the kids, Mosquito Joe has been a game changer. We can now go outside without coating ourselves with bug spray or smacking ourselves in the face. Put down the bug spray, pick up the phone. 479-202-9960. That's 479-202-9960. Or go to our website, arkansas.mosquitojoe.com. If you mention you heard it on ESPN, you'll get your first treatment for $39.
Ford Auto Park in Fort Smith combines over 90 years of family-owned experience with the best sales and service teams around. And at Ford Auto Park, every new vehicle comes with a lifetime engine warranty, free maintenance for 2 years, and free car washes for the life of the vehicle. The largest selection, the biggest discounts, and the best buying experience around. These are some of the reasons why you always score more with Ford Auto Park in Fort Smith. Stop in today, or they are always open online 24/7 at FordAutoPark.com.
Every day, vegetables are ripped from the earth, sliced, diced, even something called julienne. But for just $5 a day, you can help. Get 2 Hardee's Original Roast Beef Sandwiches for just $5. Slow-cooked beef, hand-dipped in rich au jus, each prepared without harming a single vegetable. So come to Hardee's, get 2 Original Roast Beef Sandwiches, and save the veggies. Hardee's, because it tastes better. Available for a limited time after regular breakfast hours at participating restaurants. Tax not included. Price and participation may vary.
It's your piece of land, your point of pride, your place of peace and quiet. Your yard means something to you. So mow like you mean business with a professional-grade Gravely zero-turn mower. Gravely means comfort. Gravely means strength. Gravely means cutting precision. Gravely mowers mean business. Gravely, build to mow the distance.
Visit Bush Machine and Tractor, 7301 0 Street in Fort Smith, or at bushtractor.com.
Only 10% of collision repair shops achieve ICAR Gold Class status, the highest training level recognized in the industry. Evans Body Shop is proud to be one of them. We know the latest repair techniques, how to find hidden damage, and repair your car's critical safety features so they work properly again. We invest in training because we would never cut corners with your family's safety at stake, and neither should you. Get your vehicle repaired at Evans Body Shop, where your safety is our top priority. Evans Body Shop, 412 Gordon Avenue, Van Buren.
Where we meet the nicest people by accident.
Tri-Hill Turf offers the highest quality turf and pest services. Hey, you say those are big words. Well, let's see. Tri-Hill Turf and Pest has a company agronomist, state and nationally certified technicians, free soil testing, and they even have precision GPS guided application equipment. Now that's high tech. For over 30 years, Tri-Hill Turf and Pest has used the latest application technology, and they strive for turf and pest excellence. They are your local turf and pest experts. Call the local team at 782-0404. Tri-Hill Turf and Pest.
This next segment on Halftime is brought to you by the Kevin Hickey Law Firm, the #1 resource for your child advocacy needs. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
Kenley, a drive down the right field line. Hooking, stay fair. That ball is out of here. Grand slam, Jack Kenley. The 5th home run for the Razorbacks.
You know, Ty, during LSU's batting practice yesterday, they played Wake Me Up Before You Go-Go by Wham, as I appreciate you bringing us in with Careless Whisper. Well done. So, I mean, it's essentially, I think they're figuring for Wham music 6 1/2 dozen the other for opponents' batting practice. It just doesn't matter. As long as you're playing something by Wham, it'll work to put a little voodoo on the opponent's bats.
Hey, man, y'all keep winning. I'll keep adding these rejoiners with the different halftime homework music you keep teaching me. It works out perfectly. Y'all just keep winning, and I'll just keep doing this.
Sounds good. So then after this LSU series, after the A&M series, we'll have some Pretenders rejoins then.
Perfect. And I got to be honest, full disclosure, I told you I was going to bike yesterday. I didn't leave the station until after 4, and so I decided to just go home, curl up next to a frozen pizza, watch some Game of Thrones, and watch a little baseball yesterday. So I did not get a chance to listen to it on the bike, but on the way up to Fayetteville after the show, I will listen to Pretenders, and I have to read something too, but I'll save that for next week.
Do you really curl up with a pizza? Because when I picture curling up, I mean, actually laying next to the thing that you're supposedly curling up with.
I mean,
maybe spooning it or cuddling with it. I know you love pizza, but you don't really, love pizza, do you?
So I have my late grandpa's fold back chair, just the classic grandpa chair that's comfortable, and it just forms to your body. And I have just the pizza pan just sitting on my lap, and I got the hot sauce and the water next to me, just watching Game of Thrones yesterday. It was honestly a pathetic sight. Like, if someone would have walked in and just saw me do it, they would have just laughed or honestly had pity on me, to be quite frank, Phil.
I've got plenty of reasons to be pitiful on you.
Seriously.
Yes. You just painted the picture.
The list just keeps going up. I feel like I give you something else every time we do this show, just something else to add to the list.
So it looks like Brent Bielema has got a new job, Tye. Now, we thought that he might have a new job back in January when apparently he'd been telling people that he was going to be the new defensive coordinator for the New England Patriots. But, of course, that job went to Greg Schiano for about 30 seconds or so. And there has been no announcement as to a new DC for Bill Belichick's team. I think Belichick may actually just be the defensive coordinator himself.
Who knows?
Along with being the head coach. But it looks like Coach B is back to being a coach again instead of being an analyst. Apparently, he said to Mark Daniels, who covers the Patriots for the Providence Journal, that he is the new defensive line coach for the New England Patriots. So, and there hasn't been an announcement from the Pats, but even Daniels updated the Patriots coaching staff on his Twitter feed. He's got Bielema right there as the defensive line coach, and so I guess what makes it official to where the Razorback Foundation is no longer paying his buyout clause?
That's a great question, and that will be something that I will heavily research in heading. And honestly, if this would have happened a couple hours before the show, I would have probably been able to figure that out. But it happened like moments before we came on air, and I haven't really had time to look up the stuff. I think, don't hold me to this, but I think he still gets like whatever he's making, and then he still gets a portion of that. Now, I'm not 100% on that, but I still think Arkansas is going to owe him some money, just not all the way like they were paying Phil.
Also, CBS came out with a list of their top coaches in the Power 5 conferences, and and I know the voters were the writers from the CBS Sports website, and they don't think too highly of Chad Morris right now. And of course, most of it's got to be based upon a 2-10 season, but they've got him ranked as the lowest rated head coach in the SEC, even one spot behind Matt Luke, and they put him as one of the 5 or 6 lowest-ranked coaches in the Power 5. So they got him ranked number 59, lost a couple of slots from his ranking last year, and their explanation was an 0-8 record in conference is going to knock you a couple of pegs down. He's even one spot behind Matt Luke of Ole Miss.
Hey, more motivation, more bulletin board material. Coaches don't use just bulletin board material for players and other coaches, Phil. They use it for themselves. If I'm Chad Morris and if I'm a coach in just any sport in general, anything bad written about me as a writer, I'm posting it right in my office, right smack dab. I mean, that's what I do when all these people say they hate halftime. I just have all this stuff plastered on my wall at home. So every day when I wake up, I see that, and it's motivation for me to get up at 3:30 in the morning and go to work.
Wait, there are people that hate halftime? Are you serious? There are actually people that that aren't glued to the radio every moment we're breathing?
I just made that up, honestly. I'm trying to insert myself in it. What I'm trying to do is insert myself to what it would feel like to not be liked, but we're so well liked in this industry, it's hard to.
I know we tried to be disliked with that whole most annoying sports media member, and I guess I finished as the most likable or the least annoying. I tried to anger our audience. It didn't work. It just didn't work.
And off that's going to be an every year thing. I'm going to look forward to that when it pops up on my timeline. It's like I get to throw another one of these suckers out on last year and tick everyone else off. And most of me, I will say this: Ruskin and Zach were telling me, dude, you're going to get some backlash for this, and I was like, we'll see. Every single media member that talked to me about it said they loved it and they loved the responses. They said it was great. So it's going to be an every year thing, Phil. I can't wait.
Oh, you see, it's got to be a different poll then if you want negative backlash. It's got to be worst dressed sports media member, because then you'll get. Then there's a lot of legitimate entries. Worst hair in sports media in Arkansas. I think I would come out on top or close to on top in that. Worst body odor in the press box. I think this is more along the lines of what we're talking about with sports media members. We'll step aside. We've got Aaron Torres joining us next, and this is Halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
No hidden agendas on this program. You're listening to Halftime.
In Fort Smith combines over 90 years of family-owned experience with the best sales and service teams around. And at Orr Auto Park, every new vehicle comes with a lifetime engine warranty, free maintenance for 2 years, and free car washes for the life of the vehicle. The largest selection, the biggest discounts, and the best buying experience around. These are some of the reasons why you always score more with Orr Auto Park in Fort Smith. Stop in today, or they are always open online 24/7 at OrAutoPark.com.
Joe's Grill and Cantina is the only place to watch the Hogs. Watch every game at Joe's. Enjoy half-price apps and taps during the game. And with TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat. Half-price appetizers like brisket nachos, Mexican pizza, 10-layer dip, or Joe's humongous sampler platter. All half price. And all beers on tap are half price. Watch every Hog game at Joe's. Half-price apps and taps during every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina. 3400 South 74th Street across from Harps.
Metal Mart offers high-quality prefabricated metal buildings, metal roofing, custom trim shop, carports, and more. They strive to be a company where contractors as well as do-it-yourselfers are welcome. Metal Mart assists you in calculating the materials needed to complete your project, all at a rate you can afford. Stop by 7320 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith or call 648-3342. You can also catch them online at metalmarts.com. Metal Mart, the right material for the right price.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hinton. You asked, and we listened. New financing options available now at Champ Hinton Enterprises. Can you believe payments starting at $150 a month? 5-minute credit approvals and 0 down with trade-ins. Come find out for yourself why we have been serving families in the River Valley for over 38 years with over 35,000 cars, trucks, and SUVs sold. We treat you like family. Champ Hinton Enterprises, I-540 at the Arcoma exit or champhinton.com.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging, the Xerox authorized agency and dealer in the River Valley. The 29 new models of Xerox business printers and copiers represent a quantum leap forward in office technology. They are designed for the way we work today, safely and securely. They're powered by Xerox Connect Key technology. They're innovative and affordable with both black and white and color devices available. For more information, give Dixie Digital a call at 783-6600 or visit us at dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing Xerox document innovations to the River Valley.
You know the Sunbelt Chemical and Equipment in Fort Smith is your go-to shop for everything pressure washers. But did you know that they also handle your industrial pump and supply needs too? It doesn't stop there. Sunbelt Chemical and Equipment's industrial vacuum trucks can handle dry, liquid, and even sludge removal from several hundred feet away. Leave the cleanup to the professionals. Contact Sunbelt Chemical and Equipment at 782-3762. That's 782-3762. Sunbelt Chemical and Equipment, 3116 Wheeler Avenue in Fort Smith.
Halftime is brought to you by Orr Auto Park. Score more with Orr. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
This one belongs to the Razorbacks by a final score of 14-4. A dominant performance for Arkansas over LSU.
Having a little trouble getting a hold of Aaron Torres. We will effort a phone call with our usual Friday guest here on Halftime. Welcome back on a Friday as the clouds are beginning to part here at Baum Walker Stadium, so that's nice to see. They have the lights turned on, though, and I kind of wonder why our lights are on. Oh, that's right. The lighting company is here, so I think they're actually trying to improve the lights a little bit. This is going to be the nicest day for a game for the week. I would definitely not classify last night as a comfortable evening. I don't know if I'd go as far as saying it'll be comfortable tonight, although it won't be rainy. It'd be in the probably about the high 50s, 60 degrees by the time you get to first pitch. Tomorrow's going to be dicey, though. And there's no chance that they're taking tomorrow's game and moving it to a doubleheader today. So I got that confirmed yesterday. It does seem that the chances of rain really begin to diminish tomorrow about the time that the game begins. 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Chances go from 90% at 8 o'clock in the morning to about 40% at 1:30. So that's when it'll begin to drop. I don't think you'll have trouble getting the game in tomorrow. Could be a question or a matter of when you start the game. So you can delay it a little bit, not worry about it, and then go from there.
Well, that's good. That would they cancel the game tomorrow? Is that possible with the weather?
Well, I mean, that's doable if you had to do it. It's not going to happen, though. I mean, because the chances of rain really go to 30%, 20% by 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. You can sit around for a couple hours and delay first pitch until 3 or 4 or 5 if you have to. LSU is not – there's no travel curfew for the last game of this series because LSU is chartering, just like Arkansas would charter. So there would be a travel curfew if you're on a commercial flight, but you're not going to have to worry about that for Saturday. This is just the question is, will rain kill off any bit of a crowd that maybe you would have expected to get? And I don't think that'll be the case tonight. So I think it's supposed to be close to a sellout tonight. The atmosphere will be great. I think that there'll be an electric feeling throughout the ballpark because of just the anticipation of potentially winning a series over LSU. It's funny too because the tone of the game sometimes gets set early, and you felt like yesterday when LSU scores 3 batters into the game, and you're not used to seeing Isaiah Campbell give up first inning runs. That maybe the tone of the game will be the same that it was the first game of the Tennessee series, which that Friday game turned into a crazy Sunday game. All this back and forth that Arkansas eventually won 11-9. You just usually don't see 20 runs scored to open a series. So you're thinking, maybe that's the sort of game you're going to have. So I feel like lost in amongst the fun of the home run carnival yesterday was the performance by Isaiah Campbell, which we're just becoming used to now, Ty. I mean, 6 innings, 2 runs, 4 base hits, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts. It's a nice, tidy 6 innings. And the great thing to see was that while they gave up hits to 3 of the first 6 batters, only 1 hit after that and set down 15 of the last 17. I feel with Campbell it might take an inning to figure out what's working for him out of the bullpen. Because what you take out of the bullpen isn't always what you take to the mound in the game. It's funny when you think of that because there's sometimes a 10-minute differential between when you threw your final warm-up pitch in the pen and when you throw the first pitch of the game. But you don't always take what you had in the pen to the mound. But with Campbell, and I think the same with Connor Nolan, you're working with 5 pitches. So it's almost like you've got to figure out that first inning or 2 perhaps what's working for you, what it is you're gonna live off of, and what you've got to show. And you don't always have to use all 5 pitches. If you got 3 working and you're a starter, you should be set. So perhaps that's the case with Campbell. And he went to the cutter a lot yesterday. The slider looked good, had a nice curveball. So it might take him an inning or so to figure out what works. But then when he figures it out, it works.
So before the season began, we were kind of questioning if he could be the equivalent or maybe close to what Blaine Knight was for the Razorbacks last year. And you can talk about how this team has been improved upon because the overall batting lineup, how it's just been solid across the board. It's a little better than last year when it comes to just hitting percentages, slugging percentages, really inning percentages compared to last year in terms of hitting. You could talk about Patrick Wicklander and Connor Nolan kind of shoring up the 2 and 3 slots. But, Phil, when you have a guy, and you mentioned this a little earlier, when you have a guy that you know what you're going to get from him in game 1, that he is an ace, he is a stud, he's a possible first-round guy. That just gives you confidence for the series. And before the season, I don't know if Dave Van Horn, obviously he'd never say this publicly, but I don't know if he imagined that Isaiah Campbell would be as dirty as he's been this year. Like, he has just been a monster, with the exception of the Kentucky game and maybe another one. I mean, dudes, and it comes down, we joke about like the Jimmies and the Joes, and he's a dude. That's a dude right there. And just the fact that the Arkansas baseball team can look to him and say, we got a chance with anyone in college baseball in game 1, and then we'll work out what happens in game 2 and game 3 just with him on the mound in game 1, Phil.
Okay, so I mean, let's look at the seasons that Isaiah Campbell is having right now, and what Blaine Knight gave you last season. And I don't have my stats right in front of me. So Knight last year, 14-0, 280 earned run average. We get hung up on the 14-0, and wins get for me, for starting pitchers, wins get discounted to a point. I felt like the attitude that Blaine Knight pitched with didn't just set the tone for the game he was pitching, but it set the tone for the team.
Yeah, the Clemens comments. That's the best. That's what every Arkansas fan looked to last year. It's like, I don't care who he is, I'm going to go right at him. And that just kind of echoed throughout that baseball team last year.
Okay, but Campbell's ERA right now is 2.57. That's lower than Blaine Knight's 2.80. 2.30 batting average allowed last year by Blaine Knight, which is awfully good, which is very good. But batters are hitting lower against Isaiah Campbell. I mean, they're hitting under 210 against him. So I mean, I'll look at officially the numbers here, and it's 211 against him. I understand. I mean, he'll have maybe 4 or 5 more starts, so things can change. He is striking out more batters. Campbell is walking fewer than Knight did too. So his record isn't quite the same because he does have a loss. And Arkansas has lost 2 games that he's pitched. I think they lost 1 game that Blaine Knight pitched last year, and he was in line to win that game. It wasn't because of poor pitching by Knight. I feel like Isaiah Campbell is having a better season, numbers-wise, than Blaine Knight, except for the win total. I almost feel like a heretic saying this.
It's kind of like it's the same equivalent to saying this team might be better than last year's team, but you feel like you're walking on broken glass and like someone's going to hit you by saying that. But when you actually dig into the deep stuff, like you're talking about the statistics, it's possible. It's not exactly the most. It's not a black and white, here's the answer, but at least you can have an argument for Isaiah Campbell having a better season than Blaine Knight and this team possibly being better than last year's ball club.
3 home runs allowed by Campbell this year. Knight gave up 18. Most of those were solo shots. It was rarely, if ever, with anybody on base. And you know, I mean, so you can like separate what Knight did from what last year's team did, because while the baseball team finished just short of the national title, Knight, I think in a lot of fans' eyes, was perfect because of a 14-0 personal record.
Yeah.
So, but you still, even though I think that he's responsible for a lot of those 14 wins, you do have to discount the record just a little bit, because on the other metrics of pitching, Campbell, he's having a better season. Again, things can change because you still go to A&M, then you theoretically make a start in Hoover, then there's the regional, super regional, and then whatever happens after that, so things can still change. But by the end of the season, Campbell potentially could have better overall numbers than Knight, and he probably goes higher in the draft than Knight did too. Later in the show, we've got Kyle Peterson coming on, great broadcaster from ESPN, and we'd recorded the interview. But one of the points that he made, which I think will be interesting, we get lost, I think, in the thoughts of Campbell as a surefire first-round pick. Might not be the case. Might be a sandwich pick, early second round. But I think he goes earlier in the draft than Blaine Knight, who went in the 3rd round. I see Campbell going earlier than that.
Yeah, it's potential. I think it's what you talked about. Knight, I think you mentioned this a little earlier this year, how you thought Knight maybe didn't have the same quality of stuff as Campbell. That's pretty stinking close, but you mentioned that Knight was able to compete more. Well, based on this season, and we had a conversation with Isaiah Campbell on Supercuts Baseball Spotlight earlier this year, I think he took a lot out of what he saw from Blaine Knight do last year, because that's one of the biggest things you got to do in sports. When you evolve, you're the underclassman, you're the freshman, you're the sophomore, and then you're eventually the leader. And we just talked about how he's now the one guy. He's the guy that the baseball team looks to. Is like, we got a chance at any ball club because he's on the mound, because you're on the mound. And he's kind of evolved. So he's evolved a ton from last year, and just his mentality, just his composure. It's been pretty fun to watch. And you could speak to tons of Arkansas baseball players under Dave Van Horn. Joe Serrano talked about how much he's evolved as a baseball player, considering from his freshman to senior year. Blaine Knight's the same way. It's their development process. No one questions baseball players' development over Dave Van Horn, because there are numerous examples that you can point to.
You want to talk about somebody who's developed as a player. How about Jack Kenley? You know, we never really knew what you might have from Kenley in the last couple of years, because he was always behind somebody, playing behind someone. And he also was a different-looking athlete. That's the other thing about it. I mean, he was behind Casey Martin and Carson Shaddy last year, and Jax Biggers the year before. As a freshman, you're behind almost the exact same players, but you're also a little thinner and not quite as strong. But now, this is like somebody that's really taking the opportunity that's given to them and running with it. If you get one chance to be a starting player in the SEC, and it's a junior year and it's a draft year, Kenley's doing things that I don't know. I think Kenley, I don't know where he'll go in the draft, but somebody's gonna take a chance on him because he's athletic, he's smart, he plays any position on the field. And he's showing some power now, and I think that stands for something. To go from hitting .222 in limited action last year without ever hitting a home run in 2 seasons to now hitting .313 with 10 home runs and 42 runs knocked in, and coming up with one of the biggest hits this season, that grand slam last night, and learning a new position. They hadn't played much at second base. Yes, sir, Jack Kenley has also taken that giant step forward. We'll step forward into closing out the first hour of halftime next. This is ESPN Arkansas and HitThatLine.com.
A show that lives up to the hype. You're listening to Halftime.
Supercuts welcomes you. Our friendly professional stylists are always ready to serve you with a warm smile and finish your cut with an amazing hot towel refresher every time. Take advantage of our weekly sales, such as $1 shampoos with a haircut on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. That's right, $1 shampoos on every Tuesday and Wednesday. And 10 to 20% off color sale with $5 hair conditioning treatments every Thursday. And there is much, much more. Supercuts conveniently serves its community 7 days a week. Supercuts, clean, sharp, ready.
Looking to upgrade your fleet or needing professional service to your existing fleet? Carco International of Fort Smith offers the latest trucks and equipment in the industry. With over 70 years in the trucking and equipment business, they have the experience to keep you on the road. Carco International offers professional service after the sale. Carco International Parts Department supplies all makes, parts, and gives expert service. Carco International is the answer. Leave it to the pros to keep you on the road. Carco International, located at 2721 Midland Boulevard in Fort Smith.
Doe's Eat Place is the best of the best steakhouse in the River Valley. Award-winning steaks in a great atmosphere is what you will experience every time. Doe's Eat Place offers over 150 selections of wine, including 50 Cabernets, 200 spirits, including 80 whiskeys, bourbons, and scotch, and 75 beers, with 20 different local beers and 50 imported and craft beers. Everything you need for a memorable evening is at Doe's Eat Place, 422 North 3rd in Fort Smith. Open 5 till 9 Monday through Thursday and 5 till 10 Friday and Saturday. Call 784-9111 for reservations.
ProCare Family Health with locations in Bonanza, Chaffee Crossing, and at their new location in Poto. 1103 Dewey Avenue in Poto is your primary care clinic, acting as a principal point of health care to patients of all ages. Their emphasis is to educate patients about their health and how to maintain it throughout their lifetime. They are devoted to the best research models so that their patients can get the highest standard of care. ProCare Family Health can assist with weight loss, testosterone injections, diabetes, and cortisone shots. ProCare Family Health, dedicating to meeting your healthcare needs.
What are people saying about Links at Chaffee Crossing? It was by far the best barbecue I've had, along with great sides.
Great place to sit down and watch the game on the TV while you're having your favorite drink or beer.
Come and enjoy Links at Chaffee Crossing. Relaxed atmosphere, great barbecue, burgers, and more. Plenty of TVs to watch the game room with a pool table along with a full bar and lots of cold beer. Good food and good times are all at Links at Chaffee Crossing, off Custer Boulevard in Fort Smith.
True Grit Running Company is where perseverance meets passion. Whether you're training for your next marathon or just comfortable shoes to keep up with your kids, we have the gear to help you reach your goals. With our slow motion gait analysis and our extensive product knowledge, we have the right pair of shoes for you. We also carry apparel, nutrition, hydration accessories, injury prevention gear, and recovery products. We offer classes, workshops, and group runs. Lace up, show up, and get your grit on. True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
I have never had a more pleasant experience when I purchased my car from Hertz Car Sales. They were great to deal with and made sure I was a satisfied customer during and even after the sale. If you're looking for a quality pre-owned vehicle, go see Hertz Car Sales.
Why not make the short drive to 2810 Midland Boulevard or give them a call at 783-1722. You can also check them out on the web at buyfromhertz.com. Trade-ins are always welcome. Stop by Hertz Car Sales today. You'll be glad you did.
This is Matt Brown, PGA Head Golf Professional. The 47th Annual Ben Guerin 4-Ball is coming up May 31st, June 1st, and 2nd at the Ben Guerin Golf Course. The $150 per person entry fee includes 3 days of golf and a Titleist prize package. This tournament will fill up fast, so call the Pro Shop at 646-5301 or stop by today to reserve your spot in this Fort Smith Classic. Don't forget to check out our Facebook page for all upcoming events, including the ASGA Monk Wade Father-Son Tournament in July. When you think golf, think Ben Guerin.
This next segment on Halftime is brought to you by the Kevin Hickey Law Firm, the #1 resource for your child advocacy needs. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
Fletcher with a drive to right field. Wow, look at that one go. That is way out of here. Over the bullpen fence. Dominic Fletcher with a moonshot through the wind.
I love all the lists, the way too early prediction lists. We would have gotten into that with Aaron Torres in the last segment because he came out with a way too early list of SEC basketball predictions for 2019-2020. And you can't help but think the same thing on the football side of things. Danny Sheridan has offered up a hypothetical point spread for round 5 in the postseason of Alabama-Clemson football. And he says that Alabama, who last year he picked to be a 5-point favorite way too early against Clemson and obviously was wrong, has them as a 3-point favorite for round number 5. So what do you think about that? Would you go with a 3-point favorite for Bama here on May the 10th for a game that potentially could be played next January?
I don't know. That's tough, man.
I don't know. That is tough. I wouldn't take it either. I will take our number 2 as we wrap up this week on Halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Get $60 back by mail on a Firestone Visa prepaid card when you buy a set of 4 eligible tires. Get up to $100 when you make an eligible tire purchase with your CFNA credit card. Whatever you drive a Firestone.
Your Firestone tires are waiting for you at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 at exit 14 in Fort Smith.
Valid now through July 8th. Restrictions apply. Card issued by the Bancorp Bank pursuant to a license from Visa USA Inc., the Bancorp Bank member FDIC, and can be used everywhere Visa debit cards are accepted. Card terms and conditions apply. See store for details. All rights reserved. Subject to credit approval. The Bancorp Bank is not affiliated with CFNA.
At Michelob Ultra, we know it's not just about how much you work out every day. It's about how much you work into every day, too. So we brew our beer for those who realize that expending calories should never come at the expense of spending time with friends. Those who understand that just because you work out doesn't mean you can't go out. And that's why we brew Michelob Ultra to have 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, and a crisp, clean taste. Michelob Ultra, brewed for those who live fit, live fun, live Ultra. Enjoy responsibly. 2018 Michelob Ultra Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri. 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, 0.6 grams of protein, and 0 grams fat for 12 ounces.
Tommy Kraft for the Fence Man. Do you own a business that needs more security? Or maybe you just want a better look and more curb appeal? A new fence from the Fence Man can give you both. In business for more than 40 years, the Fence Man can custom install any type of fencing, gates, controlled access, and card readers. Call the Fence Man for a quick, no obligations quote. 479-782-3936. That's 782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
You know, a night out with friends can be so much more. Upgrade your evening at 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge on the Avenue. Rediscover life's simple pleasures. Dial back, slow down, and immerse yourself in what true relaxation can be. Top shelf wines and liquors, premium beers, world-class cigars, all in an atmosphere that feels less like a lounge and more like a destination. Sample, indulge, escape. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Upgrade your night on the Avenue.
Arkansas Fuel Injection in Fort Smith has been providing quality work for all new and rebuilt diesel pumps and injectors for over 25 years. They are a certified diesel shop with a team of quality technicians that ensure the highest quality workmanship and warranties all their work. They're open Monday through Friday 8 to 5 and has emergency service available 24 hours a day. For all your diesel pump, fuel injection, and parts needs, stop by Arkansas Fuel Injection, 6300 South 29th Street, Fort Smith. Call them today at 1-800-817-7709. Arkansas Fuel Injection.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Chance of a few isolated showers or storms overnight. We drop down upper 40s north, mid 50s south. Just a slim chance of a shower or thunderstorm hanging on south. Otherwise, clearing skies. Highs in the mid to upper 60s. Showers, a few isolated storms Saturday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
I hate everything you just said. KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Bush and Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3.
They're hilarious.
Good morning, Vietnam! Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
This is Halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry. You know, anything travels that far, I'd have a damn stewardess on it, don't you think?
With Phil Elson.
You do a fantastic job on the radio. There's no one else in this league I'd rather listen to, so keep up the good work.
And Tye Richardson.
Tye, I love the way you talk, buddy.
Raise that bright red flag to the skies. 423 miles away, the Emerald City awaits. The Hogs are going to Omaha.
But hold on, it's almost halftime.
Hour number 2 of Halftime on a Friday makes it hour number 10 of Halftime for the week as we wrap it up here. And we got a good hour planned. What do you think about that? It's my 10th hour of radio with you. Of course, I've had a few other hours of Arkansas baseball. You've got the 4-hour morning show, the 3-hour morning show to worry about, the morning rush. So 3 times 6, 18. Yeah, you got a little bit more than me going on.
Just a few. I don't know what it'll be by the end of the. I think you'll probably eclipse me by the end of the week, being you got 2 more baseball games, you got pre and post games left. But right now, I'm beating you the hours spent. But hey, it's radio, man. We love it. That's why we do it. Doesn't matter how long we spend on it. I was figuring out how many hours I work a week. Just talking to my buddies who got typical 8 to 5, 9 to 5, 40-hour week jobs, and I'm busting 50, 55 hours a week. So, but we do it because we like it.
We do it because we like it. And no, you cannot take this segment off to go eat pizza in the studio next door.
It smells good. So
I know it's killing you right now, isn't it?
Allison's graduating from college, one of our coworkers here, and there's pizza. And John even came back. He's usually gone by 12, but he's back here just so he can eat. I'm hungry, and I smell it too. So I'm going to have to mosey over there. You're going to have to get through your part of the segment so I can stuff my face for a little bit.
Well, I mean, usually if you need to take 60 seconds off for a radio show, the guy that can really help you do it is on the phone right now, right? Eddie from Clarksville has called in. Eddie, I know you're fired up about Arkansas baseball. Tell me what you're thinking.
As I called in this morning, what I was thinking, I'm starting to smell it. Do you smell it, gentlemen? Do you smell a top-pay national seeding for this baseball program? I mean, tremendous job by the whole coaching staff. Tremendous job by the whole team. I mean, from the top of the lineup to the bottom, at any given swing, somebody can bring the runs home with one swing of the bat. I mean, I couldn't. Is there a better trio, gentlemen, I'm asking you now, than a big three and Mr. Kerstack, Martin, and Fletcher? But then you look at the bottom of the rotation and Mr. Kinley, Nesbitt, Opitz. I mean, I couldn't be happier. I mean, and what about a homegrown kid from Roanoke, Arkansas? Third to call Casey the Rocket Martin. I mean, look how he runs the bases. And I would argue, and I've been watching baseball, gentlemen, on this baseball Hall of Fame since 1979. And I watched all the baseball programs, just like in our football. And this kid, I mean, he is contagious. I mean, this is a different attack in our arsenal in our baseball program with our aggressive baseball running. And that's led by Mr. Casey Martin. I mean, Lone Oak, Arkansas kid, and not only can hit, but he can run. And I mean, I'm starting to smell it, Jimmy. I'm starting to hear the train roll, the whole train back to Omaha. And maybe this year, what's different about this team, gentlemen, is that, just like I say, anybody in the lineup cannot bring the wood tonight. And let's feed the Tigers. The Bengal Tigers of Baton Rouge, by the way, a tremendous baseball program. Let's feed them, let's be gracious tonight and feed them another dose of what Eddie from Clarksville calls baseball hot delight. I mean, and what are the ingredients? Well, one, you bring the wood. Secondly, you pitch. What about our pitching? Isaiah Campbell, hats off to you, sir. Let me tell you something. What about the two young freshmen? Wicklander, Nolan. I mean, I'm getting excited because we were college baseball runner-up, but we didn't hang our hats. Like I said this morning, Doug, one catch away from a world title back from Bomb last year. But we didn't hang our heads, and what did Coach Van Horn do? He assembled a team that's like on the verge of a top 8 national seeding. And what are we looking at? We sweep the Bengal Tigers. What are you in 20 wins already in this conference? I mean, get ready. Because when we go back to Omaha this year, we're bringing the title back to Bomb Stadium. Thank you, gentlemen, for taking my call.
That's a good call. Got ourselves all fired up. I'm very impressed of Eddie's ability to almost go through the entire roster of players and coaches in a 3-minute phone call. Well done. All right. I've got about as much energy and excitement and enthusiasm for Arkansas baseball as anybody else. I got a little FOMO that maybe I don't quite have the enthusiasm that Eddie has.
Oh, you should have. I wish I would have been here. So I believe this was back in June when he called in. Thanks, John. John just brought in some pizza. That's a good guy right there. Eddie, after game 1, was just going berserk. And I would have been too, because I would have thought Arkansas was going to come back with a national championship. And I think every fan thought it. But he's hyped. Imagine how hyped he's going to be if they close out this series against LSU this weekend, Phil.
Well, I also have a little FOMO on a couple of other things. So let's get into our FOMO Friday segment here. And I'll start with, so Arkansas is hitting a lot of baseball out of the ballpark these days. It's crazy to see them coming right about the same pace, close to the same pace of last year's school record 98 home runs. Now, you also played a school record 66 games to hit those 98 home runs. But Arkansas last year played 53 regular season games. Last night was the 50th game that they've played for this year. And with the 5 home runs last night, 69 homers hit by Arkansas. They hit 78 homers in 53 games last year, so they're a little bit off that pace. But they're really coming on with a lot of power of late. They've hit a home run in 14 of the last 15 games, and averaging over 2 home runs per game. 32 long balls, dingers, rockets, 32 dongs have been sent over the fence in these 15 games. So at this pace, you may approach last year's record if you go all the way to the last weekend of the season. Again,
hint.
Yeah, so you're going to need to play those 66. My whole FOMO here is that I played youth baseball from about the age of 7 through the age of 19. And I was a good ball player. I was a catcher or a pitcher and I'm a right-handed hitter all the way. I learned how to hit up the middle. So pitch down the middle, went right back up the middle. The pitch on the outside corner went to right field. I could pull it in left field if it was inside. Line drives, hard ground balls, never hit a ball over the fence. Nobody would ever confuse me with a power hitter. I don't have the Popeye strength. So I've got a little FOMO that for as much baseball as I played as a kid, and I don't know how many games I played in my life, maybe 100, maybe 100. I've got a little FOMO that I'd never hit a home run over the fence. I hit some inside the park home runs, or maybe because I played, my high school field was the football field. So if you hit it a long way to deep left center, it'll roll, 100 yards, and maybe you can circle the bases. So I got a couple of those. Never hit it over the fence. And so I was never able to just go into a trot. And I asked Casey Martin about that yesterday when he's in the postgame show with me. He said, look, we got used to watching you sprint around 4 bases. You got to trot. And he had to remind himself because when he came out of the box, he sprinted hard, but then he saw where it's going and he knew he got it well, so then he begins to trot after 2 steps. It's good to know that feeling of being able to tell the difference between sprinting around the bases and trotting around the bases. But then again, not many of us are Casey Martin. Still, a lot of us as kids did hit a home run or 2 or 3 over the fence. I never got a chance to trot, and I got a little FOMO about it.
I got a little FOMO that I just never played baseball in general. I feel like I should have played at least 1 little league, 2 little league seasons growing up. But my dad, which at the time he was a single parent, so that's understandable, made me pick one sport. But yeah, I wish I would have just played a little bit of baseball. Phil, I also, how I told you John brought in pizza? Turns out he just brought in the box. And so Tommy and John are getting a good kick out of that when I opened the box and there was nothing in there. But my first real FOMO, how about Tony Romo this weekend at the Byron Nelson?
You've been watching Tony Romo's group as we play through at 7. He's
got 3 and 18. Conversion. Touchdown.
Dude shot an eagle yesterday on hole number 7 on a par 5. He shot a 76 first round, which is, not to PGA Tour standards, but pretty stinking good. And I'm just a guy that really likes to see other athletes compete in sports. This is his 3rd PGA event that he's competed in, and right now it's the lowest round he's ever shot. His line in Vegas was 78.5, and so he eclipsed that, which is kind of cool. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like people are going to win the odds betting on him 10,000 to 1 because he's still a little behind the leaderboard. But I just really enjoy watching athletes who don't compete in that specific sport, like football players who play basketball players trying to play football. I just think that's always cool. So I got a little FOMO I didn't get to watch him down in Dallas, Texas this weekend.
So it's graduation coming up soon, and we've had plenty of other athletes already graduate. Just had finals week. When it was in Kentucky, it was graduation last weekend at Kentucky. And I've been around college sports now for what? I did 8 years at UALR, 5 years now here at Arkansas. So I've been doing college athletics for like 13, 14 years. And I don't have a little FOMO. I just have FOMO that as close as I am to getting the sheepskin, I still haven't graduated college. Here I am making this admittance over our entire network. It's nothing to be embarrassed about because not everybody goes to college or finishes college, and that I'll be the first to admit I was a pretty awful student for at least the first 2 years at Indiana University, where I might have partied in majoring, which probably just those 2 words put in that right context tells you what was going on, and then transferred to Point Park in Pittsburgh. Turned into a good student for about 3 years, but then got probably a bigger ego than I should have had when I got my first play-by-play job, and I'm 21 years old, and figuring, I'm on the way up now, and I guess I don't need to finish. And so I left school without finishing. Had a couple of opportunities through correspondence courses to get that degree, but I've also admitted I'm a procrastinator, and a pretty bad procrastinator at that. So I never completed the things I needed to complete. Started to get back into thinking about this a couple years ago, and I did take. So I finished. I got out of school about 4 credits short, right? And one of the 3 of those credits were a 300 level English class. So I took that class at Henderson State 3 years ago, passed it with flying colors, and And then I needed to, it was funny, the last two things I had to do in order to get this done. One is to do a practicum, a radio practicum. Been in the radio business now for 23 years, needed to do the radio practicum at least. So instead of writing a big paper or actually taking a class or anything, they said, well, just put a couple of reels together of highlights. It's like, well, I can do that. Sent that along, boom. The last thing got to do, media ethics, which sounds like a pretty broad term. It wasn't part of the curriculum when I was a student there, but it is now. So in order to get the degree from Point Park in journalism, I need to do this media ethics. That's the one thing I have left. Got a few other things to worry about, of course. This show, Arkansas baseball, the kiddos. So I'm going to get to this. I promise I will get to this. Mr. Procrastinator promises to get to this. But until then, I remain with FOMO without getting this college degree.
So my media ethics professor in college was Patsy Watkins, and she was tremendous. I loved her. That was one of my favorite, probably top 5 classes that I took to the U of A, because there's certain subjects in this industry you didn't think about up to that point. And I think I was a junior in college at the time, so I was starting to get a little more headway with riding with the UA Traveler, the student radio station. I was interning with Bo at the time, so I was starting to get a little acclimated to the industry itself. It's a fun class. So, I mean, if you want me to shoot her an email, see if she's teaching sometime this summer in the upcoming fall, I'd love to. That would just be the ultimate connection. I think that'd be dope if you finished at the U of A. But again, might be a little cheaper if you did it somewhere else.
I don't think. I mean, again, it's just one credit left,
Yeah.
one credit, and then finally be able, after what is it? It's 2019. I started college 25 years ago. Goodness gracious. It's been a minute since I sat in that college classroom.
Hey, it's not about the start; it's just about the finish. You finish. It's what. And I'm not going to name names, but I know a few people in this industry that didn't graduate college. And I mean, it really hadn't. I don't think it's affected you that much.
No, not very much. It's just the idea of finishing what you start.
Yeah,
I think
that's fair. All right, Phil. So I'm a little bummed about this. I'm a little bummed that they didn't advertise this about 3 years ago when I was a junior or senior. Here, Natty Light is hiring an intern.
We're looking for something more. Somebody who's Natty qualified. A well-rounded, fun-loving human being who knows how to get things done. Approved? Approved? Are you kidding me, Carl? Come on! Once hired, our intern will have a pretty cool list of responsibilities, including attending sporting events, guerrilla marketing, traveling to some cool places, and of course managing the Natty Light social channels. All the while recording a weekly vlog of the awesomeness. Maybe even Pat McAfee will give you a call.
Oh,
Cuzzy!
I knew you'd like the end. I knew you'd like the end of that. So part of the stipulations to apply for this job, you got to be 21 or older. You got to have a workable time period from middle of June to the beginning of August. You get to create content on social media, design swag, host a blog, you get to go to sporting events. Drinking beer is a part of the job. Like, when is that a bad thing when it's a part of the job? So you think Tommy will let me take a sabbatical about a 2-month? Let's see, June, July, August. Yeah, about 2 months and a half, 2.5 months. So just, hey, you go frolic off with Natty Light for a little bit and then come back.
A beer drinking sabbatical?
Yeah. Do you think that'll be? Well, I'm learning social media and stuff and whatnot. Like that counts towards the social media aspect that he's trying to. You think he'd be okay with that?
I just love the idea that drinking and vlogging are part of the job. These two things, I understand they go together, but when it comes to the one of the beers of choice for college students because of how cheap it is and how easy it might or might not go down, that could sound a little bit dangerous. It could sound very dangerous.
Yeah, I was gonna say, take it up a notch. It could be very bad. But hey, it's all about having fun, having a good time, and I'm just bummed that I can't apply for this internship, Phil. I'm just a little. I guess I'm overqualified. I don't know.
Yeah, you're overqualified. All right.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Just a little
All right.
bit.
So let me paint a little. Let me give you a little scenario here for my last FOMO. It is what were you doing on May 5th, 1998, Ty?
May 5th, 1998. So I would have been a little over 3 years old. I don't know, watching Teletubbies or something, or Barney.
Okay. So on May 5th, 1998, I was at Wrigley Field in Chicago watching the Houston Astros and the Chicago Cubs. I'm driving from Pittsburgh to Montana. This is when I'm going to work for the team in Helena, Montana, as their color commentator and PA announcer and mascot extraordinaire. And so I'm taking advantage of the opportunity, driving through Chicago and Milwaukee and Minneapolis to go to some Major League Baseball games. So I got a couple of tickets for a high school friend and me to go see the Astros and the Cubs at Wrigley Field. And it's a night game. We sat in the bleachers. I spilled beer all over a guy right in front of me and bought him a whole plate of nachos as a makeup gift. We turned out to be very good friends that night because of the makeup gift. I got a ball thrown to me by Chicago Cub outfielder Jose Hernandez.
That's dope.
I don't know where the ball is anymore, but he threw the ball to me, and it was a wonderful experience. The next night, I went to watch the Padres and the Brewers at Old Milwaukee County Stadium. But you know what happened on May 6th, 1998, in Chicago, Illinois, at Wrigley Field? This happened.
20-year-old Kerry Wood gets Derek Bell for his 20th strikeout, a National League record. He has his first Major League complete game and shutout, and it's a one-hitter over the Houston Astros. They're mobbing Kerry Wood at the mound. The young Texan has blanked the Astros 2-0.
So this is sometimes referred to as the greatest game ever pitched, even though it wasn't a no-hitter. Kerry Wood faced 27 batters, gave up one base hit, and struck out 20, a National League record that I think also stands still as the Major League record. And I mean, Kerry Wood's career is kind of the stuff of legend because he was injured the next season. I mean, Dusty Baker sort of overused him a little bit that rookie year. They won the division. He went 13-6 with a 3.40 ERA and looked like he was primed for a Hall of Fame career. He had a good Major League career, but injuries pretty much ruined the thought of him being a Hall of Famer. I missed this game by 1 day, one freaking day. If I would have stuck around in Chicago and said, you know what, maybe I'll just go to the next game. I'll go to tomorrow's game. I would have been there for potentially the greatest game ever pitched in Major League history. Instead, I saw a great game. I remember Tony Gwynn hitting a ninth-inning home run for the Padres to send the Brewers and Padres to extra innings. Milwaukee still won. I still remember the taste of the bratwursts and the mustard and the feeling of being at a ball game in Milwaukee. But while that was going down, Kerry Wood struck out 20 batters. So I got a little FOMO about it.
So I got a question for you, kind of to go off that point. I was talking with a buddy up here in Fort Smith, Brent Magruder. He had tickets to Game 6 of the Rangers-Cardinals game. He didn't go because he told his son, we're not going to go to St. Louis unless they have potential to win it all. And so he gave up those tickets. I think he sold them. And then they ended up having the David Freese game and winning that just in miraculous fashion and then winning that Game 7. So they got to see the World Series Game 7 win. Now, it wasn't as good of a... Let me ask you something. What would you rather see? Would you rather see that legendary Game 6 game, or would you rather see them clinching it and winning the whole thing in Game 7?
Wow.
That's a tough one, isn't it?
That's a difficult, because every Game 7 is going to have a legendary feel to it, even if it isn't a great game. You know, like I was at Game 7 of the 2004 ALCS. That capped off the great Red Sox comeback against the Yankees when they're down 3-0. But it wasn't a great game. I mean, it was over basically in the third inning. Johnny Damon hits 2 home runs and a grand slam, and it's over. The Yankee Stadium was almost empty by the 7th inning of Game 7 of the Red Sox-Yankees ALCS. But Game 7 so rarely happen. I don't know. I think that's a tough one to answer, man. That's a really tough one to answer.
All right, my last FOMO to close out this Friday. You know Aaron Rodgers? He's going to be in Game of Thrones, Phil, either this episode or next. So him and Danica Patrick, we talked about her and the Milwaukee Bucks game earlier this week. They were caught in Ireland earlier this year, last year, which is where a lot of the filming takes place. And according to Aaron Nagler, who works for Cheesehead TV up there in Wisconsin, has reported that he's going to be in Game of Thrones, which is just wild. Some of the cameos that have been Game of Thrones, this is just a few. Noah Syndergaard, Matthew Berry, the fantasy football guy, Chris Stapleton, country artist, Ed Sheeran, pop, or whatever.
Syndergaard? Where was Syndergaard?
A lot of these dudes are hidden like as soldiers and stuff. Like you don't know. They have like helmets on so you can barely tell. But a lot of celebrities have tapped in and gotten in little clips of it, which is kind of cool. But Yeah, apparently Rodgers, either episode 5, episode 6, this last season, he's going to be in GOT. And I got a little FOMO about it.
Well, how do you like that? How do you like that? All right, but I'd got a little FOMO if I was getting into real estate if I didn't call Quantum Property Services. And that's if I'm looking to find a new home or if I'm looking to get into real estate investing. Interest rates are low right now, so you'll get more house for your money if you're looking for a new home. And if you're looking to get into real estate investing, Quantum Property Services helps with buying, selling, and investing. One call does it all. They'll find the right property or properties for you and make it hassle-free by managing those properties. Call Quantum Property Services at 479-434-6860 or go to quantumpropertyservicesinc.com. Halftime continues on a Friday on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
No hidden agendas on this program. You're listening to Halftime.
Now is the time to book your fundraising and corporate golf outings for 2019 at Eagle Crest Golf Course. Call Eagle Crest now before all the best dates are gone. 479-632-8857. Eagle Crest Golf Course, voted best of the best golf course 2 years in a row. Let their staff take care of everything, from help with your tournament as well as food and beverage service. If you're looking for a place to host your corporate or charity event this year, call Eagle Crest Golf Course. 479-632-8857.
This is Mark Hurst. How important is new technology? That's a question I was recently asked by a student at a career day presentation at a local school. At Hurst Family Dental Care, we use new technology like digital x-rays, an iTero scanner instead of those messy impressions, and an Invisalign outcome simulator which can show you within minutes how Invisalign can straighten your teeth. Give us a call at 474-1972 and let us show you how new technology makes a difference in the way we are able to care for you. Hurst Family Dental Care, a name you know and a name you can trust.
Hug Chevrolet Buick GMC in Charleston has doubled our pre-owned inventory, and we've got to make room so everything will fit on the lot. So now is the absolute best time to come in and get a great deal on one of our premium pre-owned vehicles at Hug Chevrolet Buick GMC in Charleston. We have everything from GM-certified pre-owned vehicles to competitive make imports and domestics. Take the short drive to Hug Chevrolet Buick GMC in Charleston and drive home in your next vehicle, or visit us online at huggm.com. Hug Chevrolet Buick GMC, closer than you think.
Out here, you need to control your environment, or it may control you. You need the Kubota L2501DT compact tractor. It comes with all the easy-to-use implements you need. Get the L2501DT for as low as $139 a month with 0% APR financing for 84 months plus a 6-year warranty. Now through June 30th, 2019. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com.
Visit Gray Brothers Equipment in Fort Smith and Poto, where if you pick orange, you'll never get a lemon.
Is your home at least 10 years old and served by OG&E? OG&E is offering Arkansas customers a free weatherization program to increase your comfort and lower your bills. A trained crew will perform an energy audit at no cost to you, and if your home qualifies, our crews will install measures that will save you money. The services provided through this program are absolutely free to qualifying homes. If you could benefit from free home weatherization improvements, call OG&E at 1-800-272-9741. That's 1-800-272-9741. It's time for the Great American Sales Event at Dunn Ford Country in Stigler, Oklahoma. Get 0% financing on new 2019 Ford F-150 trucks, or take up to $10,500 off new 2018 F-150 trucks in stock. How about 0% financing on all 2019 Ford Expeditions, or take up to $12,000 off new 2018 Expeditions in stock? Don't forget, in Dunn Country, make us a reasonable offer and it's a done deal, my friend. Dunn Ford Country, 203 West Main Street in Stigler, Oklahoma, or come see us on the web at www.dunfordcountry.com.
You know, a night out with friends can be so much more. Upgrade your evening at 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge on the Avenue. Rediscover life's simple pleasures. Dial back, slow down, and immerse yourself in what true relaxation can be. Top shelf wines and liquors, premium beers, world-class cigars, all in an atmosphere that feels less like a lounge and more like a destination. Sample, indulge, escape. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Upgrade your night on the Avenue.
This is the Morning Rush.
Better by, would that be Khalid?
That's correct. Yeah,
all right. That was one
song.
of them I heard. Sunflower.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift song Me.
Yeah.
Sunflower by Post Malone.
There you go.
So y'all can't say anymore that the old man hadn't listened to some Post Malone. Dancing with a Stranger by Sam Smith. This is great stuff that I will never listen to again.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3. Halftime is brought to you by Orr Auto Park. Score more with Orr. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
3-2 pitch. Davis, a swing and a miss. He struck him out, and the Razorbacks win it by a final of 14-12. What a comeback here in Vanderbilt.
Got ESPN baseball analyst Kyle Peterson joining us in the next segment. Quick update, not update, but just some sound from Eric Musselman, who was on the Show with No Name, 103.7 The Buzz in Little Rock, morning show with Tommy Smith, David Basil. And let's get into some of the sound that Coach Musselman gave them, talking about former players coming back and embracing the program with him as head coach now.
Ron Brewer spoke to the team a few weeks ago, as did Sidney Moncrief, and I think there's just so many lessons that former players can give to the current team, and we certainly want to embrace that. I think it's great for so many different things, and I also think it's phenomenal for our recruits to see that when a player leaves here, that there's still a connection and a tremendous amount of pride in playing at Arkansas.
Here's the thing, Phil. I mean, you got to have that. And we talked about it a little bit when Musk got first hired. Mike Anderson had a good connection with a lot of the alumni. And the fact that Musk realizes that he needs to come in and not necessarily mend the relationship, but he needs to realize, hey, you guys are just as important, if not more important, now that I'm here and now that we're going to continue this program under my leadership.
Also, one thing that, of course, is gets a lot of attention from Coach Musselman is how he's been able to use the transfers over his time at Nevada and maybe how he might use them at Arkansas. And he talked with the guys on the Buzz about how transfers have changed the game.
Times have just changed so much. I remember in the 4 years that I was a student athlete and played college basketball, we had one player in our entire program transfer out. And so many, many years ago, there was a handful of guys even in a league, an entire league that would transfer. But, you know, in today's society, guys are playing on multiple AAU teams. They go to multiple high schools, and a lot of guys go to not just one or two colleges, but sometimes even three. And
Phil, we always joke on air every day how radio's changed, how our personal lives have changed, how social media and just pop culture has changed. But coaching's changed a lot, too. You look at even Mike Krzyzewski, John Calipari, how they've changed up their coaching styles over the years. Cal's going after grad transfers and transfers now, which is something you didn't necessarily see him customary do under it just kind of in his early years and even his middle years at Kentucky and Memphis.
Also, one thing that he's very good at, because he's tweeted over 15,000 times since he joined Twitter, is Eric Musselman on the good and the bad of social media.
And obviously, I'm 54 years old, and it'd be easy not to get involved in social media. And, you know, you certainly, once you get involved in it, you know, there's positive stuff, there's negative stuff about it. But having said that, at the end of the day, the bottom line is, what can we do best for Arkansas to have a great program, win as much as we possibly can, and as well give our fans an insight. You know, when you have cameras film practice and you put it out there, you open yourself up to different things. But at the end of the day, it's a way for us to try to connect with our fan base, remove the curtain, and let them feel like they're part of it, even more than just coming to a game.
That's Eric Musselman. He was on the Show with No Name on 103.7 The Buzz in Little Rock. We appreciate them letting us use that sound. We also appreciate Kyle Peterson, former Major League pitcher and an All-American at Stanford, first-round draft pick of Milwaukee Brewers, and now longtime college baseball analyst, joins us next as Halftime continues with the Supercuts Baseball Spotlight on ESPN Arkansas and HitThatLine.com.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson. Follow them on Twitter at Phil Elson PXP and at Tye Sports Radio.
Joe's Grill and Cantina is the only place to watch the Hogs. Watch every game at Joe's. Enjoy half-price apps and taps during the game. And with TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat. Half-price appetizers like brisket nachos, Mexican pizza, 10-layer dip, or Joe's humongous sampler platter. All half-price. And all beers on tap are half-price. Watch every Hog game at Joe's. Half-price apps and taps during every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina. 3400 South 74th Street across from Harps.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging, the Xerox authorized agency and dealer in the River Valley. The 29 new models of Xerox business printers and copiers represent a quantum leap forward in office technology. They are designed for the way we work today, safely and securely. They're powered by Xerox Connect Key technology. They're innovative and affordable with both black and white and color devices available. For more information, give Dixie Digital a call at 783-6600 or visit us at dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing Xerox document innovations to the River Valley.
True Grit Running Company is where perseverance meets passion. Whether you're training for your next marathon or just comfortable shoes to keep up with your kids, we have the gear to help you reach your goals. With our slow motion gait analysis and our extensive product knowledge, we have the right pair of shoes for you. We also carry apparel, nutrition, hydration accessories, injury prevention gear, and recovery products. We offer classes, workshops, and group runs. Lace up, show up, and get your grit on. True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
You know the Sunbelt Chemical and Equipment in Fort Smith is your go-to shop for everything pressure washers. But did you know that they also handle your industrial pump and supply needs too? It doesn't stop there. Sunbelt Chemical and Equipment's industrial vacuum trucks can handle dry, liquid, and even sludge removal from several hundred feet away. Leave the cleanup to the professionals. Contact Sunbelt Chemical and Equipment at 782-3762. That's 782-3762. Sunbelt Chemical and Equipment, 3116 Wheeler Avenue in Fort Smith.
Sleep apnea isn't just a problem for the older or overweight. It can affect anyone, even children. If you or someone you know is tired all the time, it may be sleep apnea. Without treatment, it can lead to many serious health issues or even a traffic accident. Don't risk your health or that of a loved one. Make an appointment today with Dr. Bo Sparkman at River Valley Sleep Solutions. Treat your apnea without the hassle of a CPAP machine. Go to rivervalleysleep.com. That's rivervalleysleep.com.
Win the battle against weeds with a trip to Metters Lumber True Value. Save now on Roundup Concentrated Weed and Grass Killer. A 36.8-ounce bottle is just $18.99 after a $4 instant rebate for True Value Rewards members. This ready-to-use formula destroys tough weeds and grasses down to the root. It's waterproof in 30 minutes with results in only 12 hours. Don't miss this bargain of the month while supplies last. Metters Lumber True Value. Certain exclusions apply. See store for details.
Time for Baseball Spotlight, brought to you by Supercuts. Conveniently serving your community 7 days a week. Clean, sharp, ready.
This guy's a first ball, fastball hitter. He's looking for heat. Oh, yeah? So what? He ain't seen my heat.
The Hogs are going to Omaha. Welcome back on Halftime on ESPN Arkansas and HitThatLine.com. It is time for our Supercuts Baseball Spotlight every Friday. And let's get right into it with ESPN's Kyle Peterson, who was on the call last night with Tom Hart and Eduardo Perez when the Razorbacks took down LSU 14-4. Kyle, I mean, it's a surprise to see, I think, any time that LSU loses in a blowout, but this is a team that's been struggling right now, especially in the pitching department. Still, you had to be surprised at what you saw yesterday at Baum-Walker Stadium.
Yeah, I think to that extent, but I mean, when you look at kind of what LSU came in from a weekend rotation standpoint, honestly, I guess with Marceau, he's back, but other than that, it was nobody else that they had in their starting rotation to start the season. You just don't know what you're going to get on the weekend from them right now, and it's so not LSU. Not at all. What's crazy about LSU is in 2 weeks they could look dynamically different. I mean, totally different. If they get Jaden Hill back and they get Cole Henry back, both freshmen who are, top-line stuff guys, now you've got weekend guys that can go match up. At this point, it just consistently they don't have it, and it feels like they're going to have to play from behind a fair amount.
Yeah, coming into this series, it seemed to me that the main difference between these two teams, because I still think LSU can hit it, maybe not at the extent that Arkansas can. Yesterday's LSU lineup had a top-heavy feel to it, is just that the pitching has been settled for Arkansas, and you see that effect from the two freshmen who've pitched so well in the last 3 weeks. That's had an effect on the rest of the team. And don't you feel like when a starting rotation is in flux or not succeeding, not giving you the innings that you need, that has an effect on the rest of the team? I feel like we saw that yesterday in both ways, one way positive for Arkansas, one way negative for LSU.
I totally agree, and I think the other thing that's a big difference right now is Arkansas has a guy going game one that is an ace, And, I mean, in this league that if you don't have that guy who can go get you, it doesn't mean you're going to win, but can go get you into the 6th or the 7th game one, and hopefully put you in a position to where you can win. It's massively different as you set up the entire weekend. I mean, Hilliard goes, 3 yesterday for LSU. And then they got to piece it together. And when he left the ball game, what was it, 6-1, 6-2? I mean, it was still doable. And then everything goes down. They bring Fred Gill, the freshman, in, and Arkansas gets another 5, and now it's ball game. So, yes, I think the entire rotation is important, but I think it's equally as important to have somebody that's an ace, and that's what I've been so impressed with Campbell this year. He has turned into an ace. He's turned into a Friday night guy this week.
Kyle Peterson joining us here, great broadcaster for ESPN, former Major League pitcher. Let's talk about Isaiah Campbell. And, I mean, he was a question mark coming into the season for a lot of people. I remember I've seen him pitch for 2 years and said, look, I think this kid's got, at times, better stuff than you saw even from Blaine Knight, who reached legend status at Arkansas last year with the 14-0 season. But, I mean, what you saw from Campbell yesterday was just a little bit of a shaky start, kind of figuring out what worked, and then just giving you exactly what you've gotten almost every time out. What did you see from Isaiah Campbell yesterday, and how do you feel he fits into the larger picture of the SEC this year? Because there have been some other pitchers like Emerson Hancock, Tanner Burns that have been outstanding, but I feel like Campbell's been right up there with them.
Yeah, I would agree with you. We talked to Dave for a long time yesterday, and one of the things he was talking about with Campbell was last year when he got into trouble, he was going to give up 3 or 4. This year, he's figured out a way to keep it to 1 or 2, and that's that's a growth piece. I mean, that's knowing when you can give up a ground ball, and ultimately the guy standing on third base is going to score, but you're going to get it out in maybe 2. It's trusting your stuff a little bit more. It's not picking on an 0-0 count, but taking a chance to get out ahead. And I think that's what you saw last night. I think it's what he's done the entire year. He's got a lot more efficient. When you look at his walks to strikeouts this year as compared to last year, it's a massive difference. And I think some of that just comes with confidence in your stuff. Some of it comes with getting to know yourself a little bit better. And some of it comes with success. You get success a little bit more, you're more comfortable going out and doing the things that he's done. So, I mean, I think you combine all of those things, and you see in camp, guys you just talked about, pure stuff. Nobody's with Hancock. I mean, Hancock could potentially be the first pick in the draft next year. When he's right, it's a different level of stuff. But, it's not just stuff that wins in this league. And Campbell has plenty of stuff. I mean, I don't know that he goes in the first round, but he could be a sandwich second-round guy and has a chance to pitch in big leagues for a while. So I think you combine just confidence in the stuff and just the kid continuing to grow up, and it turns into what you've got right now, what you hope you've got when somebody's a junior, somebody you can really count on to throw on the weekend.
Kyle Peterson's our guest here on Halftime, college baseball for ESPN and the SEC Network. Kyle, you're always going to hear Coach Beat from Dave Van Horn and other coaches in college sports, how no one game or series means more than the other. It's pretty apparent this team really wants to beat LSU this year, hasn't beat them in a series since 2011. Dave Van Horn would never admit this, but do you think from his perspective that this game is more than just another run-of-the-mill SEC series?
Yeah, I think it is, but I think the other thing that he may not admit, maybe as you guys, is that his club's a little bit better than he thought they were going to be. I mean, when you see the pieces that they lost last year and you lose an ace tonight, you come as close as they did. You don't know exactly how guys are going to respond to the fall. I don't know that you look at it and say, hey, I think we got a chance to be whatever it is, 18-8 or 18-7 in the league, and potentially win the division and put ourselves in a position to be a top 8 seed again. There has been, which I didn't realize until we looked at it a little bit